Good morning, it's working here. Let's try again. Good morning, Al Ingalls at pressure-free.com. I've got my Be Nice t-shirt. I want to focus on the word nice, which is backwards for you, N-I-C-E. The E stands for empower, and at Pressure Free, what we do is we empower you to make the tiny little changes that truly power you up, that allow your mind, excuse me, my nose is running. I've been walking really fast to get back here to do this show this morning. If you're here, please put a little comment in, let me know that you're here, like, heart, share. It's amazing to not know who's actually watching you and you're just having this conversation. If you're watching the replay, please feel free to let me know that you did watch, put a comment in, just say hi, like, share, heart. Facebook loves hearts. It gets out to more people. So feel free to do that. So we empower you at Pressure Free to make the tiny little changes in the moments when you're starting to feel certain emotions so that you don't release stress hormones. Stress hormone release is the cause of all chronic disease. It causes your brain to shut down so you don't work as well or as effectively. It causes every cell of your body to really be in turmoil for hours. And so that can cause fatigue, sleeplessness, just about anything that's negative that's happening to you can be the release of stress hormones. And even simply feeling anxious can be the release of the second flood of hormones. So there are two floods. Most people don't know about that. Everybody knows about adrenaline, but it's the second flood of hormones that really wreaks a lot of havoc with our body. So I'd love to share all of that with people. If this is interesting to you, please pop on my site. I'll put a link here. It's just lingalls.com. And you can actually sign right into my calendar and do a strategy session with me. It's complimentary, but it could be really life-changing for you or for somebody that you care about. So jump on that site anytime. This morning my topic is do-overs. Yesterday my son and I were bopping back and forth trying to watch as many state meet competitors as we could. It was a really amazing day. So thousands of athletes in Michigan were performing their particular specialties at the Michigan State Track Championships. And oh, somebody just liked, go ahead and let me know you're here. Great events. There were some athletes though that wish they could have a do-over, especially in the 300 hurdles. There were some falls, quite a few falls actually, at the D4 track championships, and some people really sad about their performances and wish they could have a do-over. And then the athletes that didn't get their PR or underperformed, on the day that they want to do their very best. That's always tough. And I thought about do-overs. Also, last night after a wonderful open house of a friend of my son's, I watched this movie that one of his friends lent us, and it was actually that idea of getting the chance to have a do-over. And there's so many times in our lives when we wish we could go back and not say the thing we did, or change something up, or not go to that party, or not get so inebriated, or some little thing that we wish we could change up, because in that moment our lives changed profoundly. Something shifted. And unfortunately there isn't a time machine yet where we can go back and have a do-over. So what happens is that we can get in loops in our mind that take us back to those moments of regret or wishing we hadn't done a certain thing. I have it's actually kind of a funny do-over, but it caused me so much pain that I would like to share this morning with you. And it's because I fell for a marketing campaign, to be honest. I was a high school runner, and I just ran because I love to run. At first I didn't even know how to race. My first year in varsity track, I was the last 2-miler. I didn't know how to race. The second year I was our number 1 2-miler. So it radically changed for me. And when I started high school track, I was running in the old waffle trainers. The Nike came out with that waffle trainer, and I was in love with it, and felt great on my feet. And then I guess it was probably 17 magazine or one of those magazines that I was reading as a teenager. There was an ad for Etonics, Bonnie Bell Etonics. And if you bought a pair of Etonics, you got a free lip gloss. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea. And the Etonic was a heavier shoe than the one I was training in. And I thought, well, I'll train in these Etonics, and then for races, I'll go into this lighter shoe, because we didn't wear distance spikes back then. So I fell for the marketing campaign, and I bought a pair of Bonnie Bell Etonics, got my little free strawberry lip gloss, and started training in these shoes all winter. I trained really hard between cross country and spring track, because I just really wanted to do well. And come spring track season, we had an intra-squad meet, and I ran, and I didn't run as well as I thought I would, and at the end my knees buckled and I collapsed. And that had never happened before. And the next day, my dad dropped me off at school, and I was walking across the parking lot, and my knees just buckled, and I fell to the ground. And then I was trying to get up the stairs. We had an old high school with a lot of... I couldn't, I seriously couldn't get up the stairs. I had to cling to the railing and pull myself up the stairs because my knees hurt so much. And it turns out that training in those shoes, it didn't have the right platform and right arch support for my pronating feet. So I had destroyed my patellas. I went to a sports medicine doctor. They were rare back then. So I had to not run for a whole year. And I was devastated, to say the least. I wanted a do-over. I wanted to go back to that ad in 17 magazine and not fall for it. So what do we do when there are things in our past that didn't work out? I turned mine into an amazing positive. I got recruited to row for the University of Michigan when I went to college, and I ended up being a rower for 3 years, a sport that was just so fantastic. You know, if I was still running, I would have never rowed. And so sometimes out of something that is very difficult can come a great thing. The other great thing that happened was, because I couldn't run, I asked my coaches, Bill Ludy, an amazing coach, and Bruce McMahon, another amazing coach, if I could stay a part of the team and help them and apprentice with them. And I got to learn so much from those two amazing coaches in New Hampshire. And you know, that never would have happened if I was still running. I would have been competing. So instead, I just absorbed and watched what they did with athletes. And that is really the start of Pressure Free. Athletes used to come to me to calm down before events. And I don't know, I just tapped into this intuition of mine to know how to say the right thing and know what to do. And it was because of years and years of performing as a violinist. I just knew how to perform at a high level without getting nervous. And so I was able to share that knowledge, and that is really a gift that I now share in a much more formal way through my coaching. And of course, with all the research I've done and all the science that I've learned about and built into my course, it's just so incredibly profound. So my do-over of wanting to go back and throw that page out of 17 away, I don't ever want to do, because what happened as a result of me not running my senior year spring track turned into a lifetime of really amazing opportunities for me. So do-overs can actually lead us into things that are, I guess, what our true path was meant to be. But how do we move forward? Because, you know, I just want to take back some things I've said and done over my lifetime, and I'm sure you have too. Are there things you say, you know, if only I had done this, if only. So those if onlys, how can we switch those up? And how can we move forward and not have so many if onlys? Really, the key is not releasing those stress hormones, because when we go into fight or flight, we're in a very vulnerable state. We'll either lash out or run away and hide, or we'll freeze. And we won't know what to say next. And we'll bomb the interview, or we'll miss out on an opportunity because we just weren't in the right mental state to take it. No, my husband, when he met me, he's like, never met anybody like me, because I was so happy all the time. Just incredibly happy all the time. And I think one of the reasons is I just love all the small things. But boy, have I noticed triggers. And you know, one trigger I'm going to share with you. So my tool for you today is to watch out for little visual triggers and those do-over triggers. You know, things that you see that irritate you. I've known a lot, and one do-over is, I've lived in this house. I love my house, by the way. I love this house so much. This is just my front porch, but look at the floor. It's got some dirt on it already, but I painted my floor. The floor of the front porch and all the trim and everything. This light gray color that actually matches the blue that's behind me on this post pretty well. I have wanted to paint this porch for 24 years. It took me 24 years to just do it. So are there things that you can change up and do that you wish you could go over, because the visual clutter that I saw every time I walked up my porch was an irritation and probably. So that's the other thing I put on my list, is little do-overs that I can do now, little things I can do now that make my life better. So I hope this has been helpful. If there's do-overs in your life that you need to switch up, maybe you could share something here, because if you have some do-overs that make a difference in your life, or things that you felt that you could share, please put a comment down below. This has been helpful. Wishing you a fabulous pressure-free day.